I'm Nate Loznosky, Concurrency's Chief Technology Officer. Concurrency is an organization of change agents. We make a difference, and we partner with businesses on the change that they need right now. Concurrency engages IT operations to build an efficient, capable cloud for the business. It also partners with the business in disruptive change to bring about new revenue and to bring about operational savings. We partner with businesses like Brunswick Corporation on a connected boat platform and migrating them to the cloud. We also partner with businesses like Clover Imaging that are doing AI-enabled distributed warehouses. We partner with businesses like Duff & Phelps that need to engage their customers with modern app platforms. And also engage customers like Rockwell Automation that are doing secure modern workplaces. Concurrency partners with organizations that need change agents and have change agents. We're here to help bring about change that drives new revenue and operational savings in your business. Let's work with each other today.
Okay, well, first, thank you to Concurrency, our partner. And welcome, Stacy. Stacy Deere-Strole from Focal Point Solutions. Stacy, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate it. That's so weird, Stacy.
I know.
Every time I call my vet, she was like, "This is Stacy. How can I help you?" I'm like, "Stacy, this is Stacy." So anyway, welcome everybody, and thank you for attending my session. I'm very excited. This is actually like my second session today, but one of my funnest, just because I like not only the stuff that you can do with forms, but the impact that forms can make. So I love to do this session, so I hope you guys enjoy it. I did have to cut some pieces out, but I'll try to make sure I cover it all in the time frame. So we're going to look at some cool and exciting ways to use forms to engage your users. Get my mouse over there. All right. So as she said, my name is Stacy Deere-Strole. I am a Microsoft Offices and Apps MVP. I am the CEO and founder of Focal Point Solutions. You can find my contact information on here and my social and other bits of information. Feel free to reach out at any time if you have any questions or if you're trying to implement something. Feel free to reach out. I'm glad to help you out. All right, massive thanks to our sponsors. Sponsors are the reason why we can do a lot of these events at very low cost and free for you guys. So if you get a chance, make sure you reach out and say thank you there. Also, please join the organization to support the Chicago Public Schools through the Children's First Fund. You know, they always do great fundraisers, and I always love the ones that they choose. And this is again one of my favorites.
Stacey,
all right,
I'm going to let you know that if you're sharing your screen, we do not see it.
Oh, did it stop sharing? It's like wasn't then it? Okay, hold on here.
Yep.
All right, did it come back?
Yes, it has. Perfect.
That happened to Tolan and I earlier, so interesting. Okay, so hey, I'll go back real quick so you can see what I actually really had said all this stuff. See, info, there's the sponsors. Make sure you're doing that. And there you go. So what we're going to talk about is the impact of forms. We're going to talk about creating forms themselves and all the cool things that you can do there, how to create quizzes and what you can kind of do with the quizzes as well. And then we're going to talk about how we can integrate some of the Power Platform with forms to kind of give us an additional value add for them. When it comes to impact, the main impact is increased user engagement. I love to find ways to use forms to do things that typically users do not like to do. You know, things like, training. So that's one of my biggest things. I secretly train people. So like when you go to launch a new intranet site, if you create like a little, like a game, put a Amazon gift card, if you get all the answers right, you can get in a drawing or, a company store kind of credit type of thing. And you literally in your form say, hey, where do you go to find this? Where do you go to find that? If you were doing this, type of scenario in your form, people submit that. Everybody likes to try to win something. Everybody likes to get the swag, right? People love to win. They love the competition. And it's a great way in addition to not only having some fun as a company, but secretly training them on a new topic or a new site, etc. It also can create a lot of company bonding through the competition as well. Also, like, special occasions, events, holidays through the year. Like during our Christmas one last year, because everybody was doing things virtual, we were trying to come up with fun things. We did trivia about the company, individuals that worked at the company, and we did that all virtually. We just did a little trivia thing, of course, at the end. Whoever got the most right, of course, got a prize and that type of thing. But you can use them to be very engaging, not only with people but people you don't know, so that you can get to know them. And of course, like I said, with the training stuff, in addition to just secretly and not secretly training them, using forms to, people to fill in information about their skill sets without actually asking, do you know how to do this type of thing? By creating forms asking various types of questions, just like the get to know your intranet or, whatever it might be, the information that you obtain from that, you can then review it and determine, wow, it's clear a lot of our users don't know how to use this type of functionality. Well, now you have an area of training that you can now go to develop and provide to them so that you can, increase their knowledge from different things throughout your organization. So it's a great way not only to train them, but to find out what they need to be trained on. The other thing I like about it is like the whole certification thing. There's a lot of companies, especially like manufacturing, construction, those types of things where they have to on a regular basis go through certain safety trainings and all that kind of stuff and get recertified. They can, with the videos and stuff that you can do within M365, you can create forums to kind of attach to those videos, or for them to, they don't have to be attached, but they go out and they take that test right after they've completed the training, and that you can hold that into the system and, kind of keep everything together for them to make it easy. And of course, as in general, just information gathering, getting to know people, with surveys and stuff like that, getting to know the tools that you're using in your organization. You can use them to get to know any types of information that you want, but you can also do it in a very fun way as well. All right, so I am one of those people, I'd rather sit there and show you guys all this stuff on the fly instead of go through a bunch of slides. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into the demo. So I've already opened up Microsoft Forms here. It is one of the apps in the app launcher. So from Microsoft Forms, notice here you can instantly just hit new form, but in the drop down you can do a quiz. I'm actually going to go through quizzes first because Forms is going to take us into something else. So for quizzes, you can kind of start here. The cool thing is you can also do a little bit of branding as you need or want to, and you can really customize them. So one of the things is I would kind of set my mood or my theme first, right? So you can add one of the themes that they have here. So I can select that, does all these cool little backgrounds, that kind of thing. Or you can go here and you can add your own image, or you can put colors. I'm just going to do a nice little black background here. And then I'm going to come over here and then notice I can give this a title. So we're going to say, get to know your intranet, right? I have an option over here that I can add a picture. So from here, notice you can go and search the internet. You can pull a picture from OneDrive or you can upload one. I'm just going to go ahead and upload one real quick. And then notice I have a description down here. This is where I can put enter to win $25 Amazon gift card. So at that point, I want to make sure this all looks well. I've got this nice little preview option up here. So now this is what the user would see as for the header of their actual form. So I always kind of check that out first. So then I come back and then I can start creating my actual form. So if I do add new, instantly I'm provided this little a lightning bolt here. But notice it goes recommended from your past form, get to know your intranet. So what is happening is AI is involved in this, and it's identifying what you've typed in a title and searching things that you've already done and see if there's something similar so you can reuse the fields so that you don't always have to start the form from scratch. So, like it says, do you want to use, where do you go to get employee phone numbers, who is your user group president? What date did the user group run in September? Clearly, last time I did the get to know, I did a user group. So we're actually just going to choose the phone number. So I don't have to select all. I can select multiples, and I can say, well, I really don't want that, and I don't want that one. You know, I just want this one here, and I can hit add. So now I instantly added this here. But when I look at it, so where do you get your phone numbers? Here I put an Excel doc, which, you know, if it's any place else, most people still use Excel doc, but you can have an employee directory as well. Notice I am able to indicate that this is the correct answer. I could, oh, I changed my thing there. So this correct answer, and I can actually add another option if I want to. Let's just say in the footer here, right? Notice I can remove any of them by hitting, you know, the trash can there. I can make it required. I can also allow for multiple answers. And notice I have applied points to this. So I'm going to say for this, if you get this correct, you get 10 points. So I'm going to go to a new one. And one of them I'm going to put, just because we probably want to know who these people are, I'm just going to put full name. Right, this is within the organization, so we don't really need like email. So I'm just going to put full name. We're not going to give this any points because this is just information that we want to know about the person. Okay, now notice here, I actually have an arrow that I can move them up so I can rearrange at any time. So I've got a question there and go here. I can do another choice. Who is the employee of the month? Or actually, I'll say who was the employee of the month in May, meaning they have to go back and kind of look in this site to find who the archives are. So, you know, Stacy's done such a great job. So we're going to put Stacy Burris in here. We're going to make sure, see if she was that recipient. We're also going to put Art in here too, see if Art was that guy. And we'll add one more. We'll see if Joe Dunn, my buddy there, see if he was that. So I'm going to say, well, we're going to say Stacy was the person, right? So Stacy's the correct answer. If you answer Stacy correct, because it's a little harder, they have to dig. It's just not right on the home page. We're going to give them 20 points for this, right? So notice here it's saying 10, 20, etc. So you can just go on and continue. You know, one of this, you can do a date even. What was the date the site went live? Or actually, what was the year the site went live? Well, and then they can put their answer there. Notice I can't put a correct answer here, right? So I'm going to actually have to score this differently, and I'll show you how to do that when we're done. So now I'm just going to use these 3 questions here and go here. Or actually, I want to go and I always kind of preview, make sure it looks good here. And then I can also make sure it looks good on my mobile, because sometimes with how you do your questions or whatnot, they may not look the greatest. So it gives you that insight so you can kind of check those things out. All right, so now I know how it's going to look. Now I actually want to respond to this to make sure that it flows really nice. So in preview mode on the mobile or the computer, you actually can fill one of these in. So I'm going to say, Stacy here. I'm going to say, I'm going to pick the employee directory, but man, I'm torn between these two. I really couldn't find it, so I'm just going to guess. I'm going to choose Joe. And what was the date the site went live? And we're just going to say the 1st of June here, and I'm going to hit submit. Now notice here I have submitted it. Now I can review results. Now the cool thing is it's telling me I can review results here. So I can go here and it says, wow. So right now it's just telling me, wow, I totally got this one wrong here. And it tells me which was the correct answers. So I can see that. Right now, this one is not actually scored. And so they can tell that it's not been scored here, right? So they can review their answer if they want. You can also decline that, so it just automatically routes them to, say, their home page or whatever, so they don't see that. For me, as I want to see responses, I would see them here. But I'm going to give a couple more answers here. So we're going to say, who's filling this out? He knows where all this stuff is, hardcore. And he knows that this site went live at the beginning of May. There you go. And not on June 1st. And he has submitted. Oh, it sees me. Did you guys see it? This form is already responsive one person, right? So it's like, oh crap, so I can only put in one entry. What do I do? So you actually have some settings out here, and you can actually say, I went in the wrong one. Yes, I did. Go over here. Where is, oh, is it not? Oh, it's not going to let me on the quiz. Dang it. Oh, there it is. All right. So one response per person. So I need that for test purposes here. So let's go back over here. My preview. Do Joe again. I was going to show that when I did the theme and I forgot. Stacy. We know this was May 2nd, and we'll hit submit. So now I was allowed to submit because I can do another one. Also, notice I can go see review results, but I also have the option here to submit another response. So now if I go to the responses here, now notice here I've got two responses. The average score is 20. It's active. I can pull it up in Excel and I can see all the answers. But no, I have no scores down here. It doesn't identify. So what do? You can go and review the answers. Now, interestingly enough, it's going to show me twice because it's showing my name because I'm logged in. You could see every user that has submitted a request and go see what they actually answered. Now, you could literally go grade them one by one. And notice this says reviewed. And I could put 20 points here, and then this one would be graded. Or what you can do to save yourself some time, if you go to questions, you can grade by question, meaning it's going to supply you all the answers, right? And so we don't give any points for this, so this one's good. I go to my next question, where do you get the employee thing? So both of them answered that correctly, so 2 points. Third one, this one is correct, they were awarded. This one, notice it says none because Joe was not the employee of the month on that month. And then if I go to this, notice all of them say they need to be graded because, on the dates, you can't supply an actual date to it. So I can go here and I say, all right, Joe gets 20 points there because he's correct. And there's 0 points here because that one's not correct. All right, now notice up here, the review next is no longer available because we're done. And we come back here and the scores update accordingly. Okay. So the other thing that you can do, other than open it in Excel, and you can actually do the post scores. All right. So these have been graded. I'm going to select them and I'm going to post these scores. All right. So quizzes, like I said, they can be used for all kinds of things, adding the scores to them, letting the users see that they got the correct answer, incorrect, that kind of stuff. It's all about that competition and learning and all that kind of stuff, right? Everybody loves some healthy competition. So some of the things that you can see that you can do. So I have a get to know your intranet here. So what I've done just on this home page here is I've added the web part to show this information. So notice I have two responses. These different one, but clearly I use the same type of people. The average score was a 15, and this actual get to know your intranet quiz is still active. So notice I can actually show the responses from everybody here, or what I can do from those post the scores is actually then post your winners, or the ones that are graded, and you can choose the people you want to post them, and then you can supply them out here as well. Okay. The other thing that you can do with this is if I go out here, if I don't want to show the answers, what I can do is collect responses, meaning I actually want them to be able to answer it right here on the thing. Okay. I don't have my correct URL out there because we just did that. But the other cool thing that I really like better about using quizzes or even with the survey forms is using the thing called call to action. I don't know if you guys have seen that before, but we're going to go here, grab this, and I'm going to use the call to action button. And I am going to edit this. I'm going to put my here. We're going to do website. We'll just choose a background or something. We just want them to look cool. Let's choose this. That kind of looks cool. I want to I can post this here. And now from your intranet or any other site, they can select here, open up the form and fill it out. Okay, so you have a lot of different things that you can do with your forms to get them out to your users, grab the information. Any question on the quizzes? All right, so we're going to move on with the forms, as I find quizzes great, and I do use them quite a bit, but forms is kind of my thing that I really enjoy working in. So I'm going to refresh this because I'm missing. Okay, there we go. So if I hit new form here, so again, notice it starts out the same exact way as the quiz did, but when you start to, and you can fill this stuff into, we can call this, I don't know, Christmas potluck. All right, so we can do that. Again, I always go apply some sort of a theme. A lot of times, like I have a company background thing for anything that I use that's company related that I send out. So I use that, and then I will come out here and add a little logo. All right. All right, so just a Christmas kind of a potluck type of scenario. Again, I can do a description if I want to, and if I start to add new here, this is where essentially you'll notice the difference between the form and the quiz. So I'm going to hit text here, say full name, all right? I can make this required, new, I can choose a choice. Notice I don't have any correct answer type of information, anything like that. Will you be attending? Right? Notice here you're seeing AI again. AI has essentially know that I'm asking a question and it's providing me potential answers, right? Yes, no, or maybe. I can select any one of them individually, or I could do a select all to fill that in. And go down again and choose, say, so I did choice. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Here we go. Add new. Rating, you can do a rating. How was last year's event? Right? So I can rate it by, I can do it from 1 to 10, and I could use a star or a number. So you have a couple different options with there. So I can say, rate last year's event. Did they like it? Meaning, hey, we do similar things that we did before, or should we kind of change it up because people really didn't like it type of scenario. You can add a date. What date works for you? Kind of thing there. So it shows you date. You can do a ranking. So you can provide different options here. 2, 3, your favorite. Christmas song. All right, we'll do Jingle Bells, Silent Night, Rudolph. So Rudolph here. So then if I go into preview and look at that, notice so here I can do my stars. But here, notice I have this up and down arrow. So my answers were going to be between, I can do like that. Okay. We come down here, do a new. We also have a Likert. So you can say, how well did you like each game or something like that, right? So we could put pin the tail on the donkey. Oops. I don't know what other Christmas games we have. We'll do White Buffalo. How's that? And then I can select my options up here. What I want these to say. You could do 1 to 5 or backwards, however you want it. You can add more if you want to. I can add a statement, so another line down here. You have a lot of flexibility with what you want to do with the Likert. You have file upload. So Don't get all excited about the file upload. I can tell you I did when I first started working with forms. Unfortunately, one, your organization has to allow you to utilize OneDrive, which I completely crushed a client the other day when I told them that they couldn't use that because they have declined using OneDrive. The other thing is there's no way if you wanted to pull this information into a SharePoint list to bring that attachment into that list. What typically some people have done as a workaround is literally say, did you upload files, right? So yes, oh, I don't want maybe, I wanted no. Got little happy fingers there. So then they can identify they actually uploaded something. Then they can go out to the OneDrive and pull the files. It's a little bit cumbersome, but it is a way to do it. You know, there are people that are great at doing it. There is a net promoter score, and then there's a section, meaning like if you've got something that has a ton of questions, maybe you don't want them to always have to like, you know, make it go scroll. They can go to the next page, so they only have like 5 to a section. Like the most common ones that I use is like contact information, so some or like vendor information type scenario. And so I've just kind of created something like this for the client where so do text, PM, name, do a couple of those. I'll do it PM, email, okay, just as an example. And it just kind of breaks it up so that they're not scrolling forever, because sometimes people are like, oh, that's just too much information that I have to fill in. But if they see about 4 or 5 and they're like, oh, that's not bad, and then they have a next, it breaks it up and they don't feel like it is as long as it actually is type of scenario, okay? So then if we go to preview this, notice we have full name, all that information that we've just done, the upload, and then we have this next. And if I hit next, I actually have required fields, so it's not going to let me. So it follows exactly what you tell it. So do that, probably tending yes. It was a 5. We're going to do, was it Christmas in July, right? So we'll do Christmas in July. So leave. So on here, if you like the order that it already is, unfortunately, it thinks that sometimes it will assume that you actually haven't answered. I have asked Microsoft about that a few times. So I'm going to give pin the tail on the donkey about a 3 because someone threw a dart, hit somebody. It was not a good situation. I'm actually going to go back because I do not want the file upload to actually be required. So Z, I always test everything before I submit it out here. Hey, come here. I do not want that one required. So we'll go back up here. See, the art of previewing. You always want to do it. So Stacy, attending, yes. Event, Christmas in July. It's always perfect. I'm going to change one of those. Pin the tail on donkey, too dangerous. That was great. I do not have to submit that. I did not upload any files. Now, if I hit next, now I can add additional information here. Jane Doe at Microsoft.com. We'll say Jane works there. All right. Then you can submit. Now notice by default on the forms, for one, it tells you thank you, and you can submit another response there. However, if you go over here to your settings, notice you can say 1 response per person. You also can allow, if your settings in your environment allow you to, you can actually set them so anybody in your anybody outside the organization can receive them. Okay, meaning like you can create a form and then send it to somebody that's not in your domain and actually get answers back. We actually send out like surveys to clients and whatnot, or new client information we send out through them that come back into a SharePoint list for us. So you can say if you want, you know, 1 response, if you want to record their name, or if you want to send something specific to somebody in the organization. Now the difference between these are, meaning anybody in the organization that gets this link can actually reply to it. But if you only want certain people to respond, then you want to make sure that you list them out. Okay. Options for these responses right now. So you can actually tell it, I'm in accept responses mode. Here's what my start date is going to be, but I don't want any more responses after this date. So at that date, this then will close. Okay. If you're doing like a certification or a test or something like that, you can actually shuffle the questions. I know that seems harsh, but Microsoft built in, think about EDU, they kind of built in some, things like that so people can't cheat. Like none of us cheated in high school, right? So it gives you the ability to actually shuffle the questions. You can also show a progress bar, which I will enable so you guys can see that. And you can customize your thank you message. So notice it said, the default said your response was submitted. You can put thank you for providing the information to get back to your internet. Select here, and then you can actually put like your website so they have an easy way to redirect back to the website type of scenario. So you can, we'll just put google.com. So you can actually provide, hey, where do you want to go from here? Like if you want them to go someplace else to see the results, type of scenario. The other thing is response receipts. Allow receipt of responses after submission, meaning someone submits, you guys get a thing and let them know that, received a response. Or that it was submitted. Get email notifications of each response. Be very careful here, because if you're creating a form or a quiz that you're sending out to everybody in the organization, do you really want to get spammed every time someone replies back? Okay, I would kind of keep this to small group type survey quizzes if you need to know when people respond. Otherwise, just be aware of that. I've had people say, why am I getting like hundreds of these messages? Because they actually put that there. All right. So some other cool things that we have is here. So when you send in collect responses, so notice I cannot choose anyone on this one, but which means I could give them anybody outside my environment that access and they'd be able to do it. I can do anyone in my organization or specific people. Now, here's where I would be able to add those specific people. I just put in their name. I'm going to do Ryan. Notice it's actually looking within the environment. I'm just going to leave this to here. I can do the whole shortened URL. Notice it did that. I can copy, paste, give it to somebody. Notice this is the link piece of it. You can also create a QR code. I can download that, put it on my slides for people to respond to try to win like $25 Amazon gift cards for providing feedback kind of thing. You can get the embed code to put on a page, and you can actually email. On my other screen, I'm being prompted what application do you want to open to send it to email. So I could choose Outlook, and then I would be able to do that. Okay, so I can send this and send it out. Other options you have is share as a template. So I have had a number of clients that have, that we've sent them forms to fill out and all that kind of stuff. They're like, hey, we really like this form, few tweaks, but can you go build this for us? And I'm like, give me 2 minutes, right? And they're like, 2 minutes. They're like, you're going to build it in 2 minutes? I go, yep, pretty much. So you can literally get a link to duplicate, copy, send it to them, or go into their environment if you have access, paste it in the URL, and hit enter. When you do that, notice duplicate this form to use as your own. Okay, I can say, yep, that's the one they want. It's going to come up as a copy, but then I have control to rename this to whatever I need to. So company potluck, we'll say 2021, right? So I can rename it. I can then remove or delete any fields that the client didn't want based off of their request, and then it's in their environment and it's ready to use. So now I've just shared this entire thing with them. It's in their environment, and all they gotta do is send the link and they're good to go. In under 2 minutes, you can share forms with anybody. So if you ever see a form that someone has, you can say, hey, can you send that to me? They can easily do so. All right. So if you notice down here, here's that, where it tells you your progress bar and all that kind of stuff that we did. But we will run through another one because we made a bunch of little changes there. Actually, I better say it's Mickey Mouse because I already put me. Okay. Will you be attending? Yes. I'm going to give 4 stars. Also a huge fan of Christmas in July. Do that. Really didn't like Pin the Tail on the Donkey. Got that. Did you upload files? No. And then if I go next, notice I'm on my last page here. Minnie Mouse at mouse.com. And then we hit submit. Notice now, they cannot submit another one. I've given them a custom message and even a URL to redirect to someplace else. Okay. What do you guys think about that? All right. One other way to share information is, say you're working on a form and someone goes, I could really use some help with the types of questions to ask or the branching or the section information type of scenario. You can go to share to collaborate. And then you say other users, people in your organization specific, or users with a school account that can edit, right? Or a worker school account. So meaning a live account. So I can choose, I'm just going to choose people in my organization. And I can copy this and then send it to someone else within my organization. They get the link, they open it up, and we literally can collaborate. So we're co-owners now of this form. So it's a great way, especially if you have someone within your organization, keep this in mind, that builds the majority of your forms. Guess what happens when they leave? You've now lost all of those forms that they created, the ability to go in and tweak them and access them, unless you have another owner assigned to them. So keep that kind of stuff in mind. All right. So with the time I have left, what I wanted to show you guys is, so we did that, we did the form responses. What I'm actually going to show you is actually now taking one of those forms and integrating it in to the Power Platform using Power Automate. Okay. So what I have done is actually already pre-created a form that is called Potluck Dinner. Okay. Notice I just have a couple questions here. Full name, are you coming? Dietary restrictions, and are you going to participate in the White Buffalo? Okay, so I'm going to close all these just so I don't have a bunch of stuff open. I'm going to go to the home page, and I'm going to go create me a list. So I'm going to go to add an app. Actually, not really what I want to do because I want my list piece. Never mind. I hate the fact that I have to go here to actually hit create a list. Go here, I'm going to create a list. I'm going to create a blank list. I'm going to call this Potluck Dinner. I'm going to show it navigation just for ease of use, and I'm going to have it create. So now that I actually have my list, now I need to add the fields that I want to record information on. So title, what I'm going to do there is I'm going to go to my column settings. I'm going to rename this one because remember I have name, right? So I'm going to say full name here. Okay, I could also put submitter or anything like that. My next one was, are you attending? Every column that you create that you want to consume the information needs to be a text field. So attending here, right? Now you have 2 options for text fields. You have single line of text and multi-line of text. So if you ask for a description or a detailed information in your form, you can use multi-line text and it will all come in. So right now we're just asking single line ones. So I'm going to put dietary here, and then I'm going to, last one is White Buffalo. I'm going to hit save. All right, so now I've created my list. Now what I want to do is go and create a connection between the form and this list so that when I fill out the form, the information comes here. Okay, so if I go, actually I keep forgetting they changed that here. Oh, where is my, it is here, right? Where is my, where did my, holy crap, where'd it go? Oh, here, Yeah, there we go. Under integrate. Power automate, I'm going to create a flow. Well, the great thing that Microsoft has done has provided you a ton of templates to make some of these things very easy. You can always go through the show more and all that kind of stuff. But what I typically do is just go to my see more templates and I start searching for what I'm looking for. In this instance, what I'm looking for is record form responses. Boom. Here, record form responses in SharePoint. So exactly what I want to do. Oh, come on. Oh, I already have it. Sign in. Come on. There we go. All right. So now it's just going to validate that I have access to forms in SharePoint. It's validating my permissions here. All right. Now I can continue. All right. So first thing to always remember is go rename, because it takes the template name when you do this. So you want to go up here and rename this. I'm going to call it potluck dinner. All right, so it'll save that for me. And now it says when a new response is submitted, I need to pick the form, so which one I'm submitting it on. So it's going to go into your form. So we just called this one potluck dinner. All right. And then it's come down here, apply to each. So list of responses, get fields. So I need my form ID again, right? So I got to go pick my form again. All right. And now down here it says to create an item. So I need to create the item in SharePoint. So it needs my site address. So if I go down here, it's going to populate all my site addresses. Yes, it is easy if you actually just copy and paste the URL if it's not the root site. So when I do that, it's going to go out and get all the list names. So here's my potluck dinner. And then what you'll see is you will see the fields that I have added inside this SharePoint list. Because I've connected it to this form, when I select title, notice this pops up. Title in there is called full name. Attending, are you coming? Dietary restrictions, white buffalo. Where's my, there we go, white buffalo. So essentially, I just mapped the SharePoint fields to the fields in the form. Okay. Okay. So I'm sorry, I almost missed your question. If you do not connect it into a SharePoint list, it lives in that form underneath the responses that I showed, like, you know, with the quiz and in the form itself. I'll show it again once we fill this out for you. So once I have those mapped, I can hit save. So when it saves, then these will highlight. Typically, I always say, okay, go check. Oh, I have no errors, no warnings. Sweet. And then I can run a test. So if I hit a test, I'm going to say, I'm going to manually go submit this. So I'm going to hit a test. So then if I come back here and I go to preview and I fill this in. Am I coming? I'm coming. Yes. We'll say I'm vegetarian today. And I'll participate. I'm going to hit submit here. I'm going to come back over here. Notice it's running. As it gets done, it turns green with a checkbox. Boom. Then if I go, oops, wrong one, here, and I refresh, oh, didn't even need to refresh. Boom, there's my information inside my list. All right. And to go back to your question here, Kent, so in here, so once you have someone fills this out, you have an option in here. So the person who has created this, you can go in here and actually see all your responses and you can view them here, or you can also export the information in Excel. So I have seen some people, especially if they're not real familiar with SharePoint lists and whatnot, they export from Excel and then import into a list. So you have those options as well, but that's where that information is held. But now notice here, If there was an issue, you can actually expand these sections to resolve any issues that you happen to have as well. So you do have some, troubleshooting capabilities when you're in these as well. So it'll actually have an X or whatever around them. Kent also asked, how about for retention and e-discovery? So directive control to export to Excel. Good question. I'm not sure how that actually, I don't know if you set any type of, that is a good question, Kent. Considering I'm just getting ready to do this workshop on Sunday around some of that, that is not one thing I've ever checked, is how that is responsive inside the forms. But Kent, I'm going to note that and I'm going to check that out, and I will definitely let you know on that. Part of me thinks that it doesn't hit that, but it almost thinks that it feels like it should disable the Excel piece if you had that certain settings, but I'll look into that for you. Dana, can you pre-populate a form with username and project from info supplied somewhere else in a SharePoint list? No, you can't connect lists in, list information into these. These are very simple forms. They're like the quick and easy type of thing. To take that to the next level where you're tying in information from other forms for auto population, like when you type in somebody's name, their manager, and it, address or whatnot pops up, you could take a form that you started with like this, and you can open it and then modify and add, do different look and feels and all that stuff and add functionality using Power Apps. Okay. Good questions though, guys. Any other questions? What do you guys think? Do you guys like this type of thing to kind of show you how to bring that stuff over? I love to use forms a lot. There's a lot that you can do with them. And then, like I said, you guys just saw that quick and easy, the workflow created. It's a workflow and it runs all the time. There's so much that runs using that workflow. I bet you it's probably one of the highest, most used templates, workflow templates out there. Any other questions? Oh, come on. I had to have forgotten something, right?
we know you forgot something. We're going to catch you on social media later and we're going to swamp you.
Oh, man. That's all right.
But that's how it works, right? Afterwards, after you leave, oh, yeah, wait a minute. Hold on. We got 2 seconds before you have to go. It's like 10 questions.
Yeah, hey, that's fine. I think we're uploading our slides. I do actually put in the demo of how to connect in the form to the Power Automate in the slides so that you guys can have it. And I even show how, like, you could do the, you can
so
put there.
I will attest to this is the one that every time I want to show a quote unquote citizen developer from a firm I don't no longer work with, how to get going so I could, make more people use stuff, right? Power Automate, it's forms. It's the easiest, it's the gateway drug to all Power Automate.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's that gateway. It totally is that gateway. When you can show them the simple thing that I just showed you, do you know how powerful that gets? And people are like, well, if I can do that, can I do this, this, and this?
I'm slapping my arm just thinking about it, just saying.
Yeah, I know it. It's very, very powerful. I don't know if anybody is reading the slide here, but I always do a forms challenge when I do this session. The first 3 people to build a form with a list and a flow and then tweet me a picture and say forms are cool will win a $25 Amazon gift card.
Oh,
so
come on, folks.
I'm using what I trained you on to get you excited about going out and actually doing it. Tweet it out and you will receive a $25 Amazon gift card. Okay.
Aren't you folks glad you stayed till the end to find that out?
That's why I don't say anything until the end.
Schmat. All
So,
right.
Power Automate is turned on in my, oh,
I think he meant off, right?
Oh, I'm sure Joe did.
he's being sarcastic. That's true. Well, hey, wait a minute. No, we have to tell him about the dev tenant. Maybe he doesn't know about the dev tenant.
Ooh.
Did you know that you can get a free dev tenant. You can, in other words, it's an E5 tenant with 25 users where you can bring in your data folks, just like, remember your favorite Contoso people? You can bring them all in and play with everything as if you are actually a company.
Yep.
And you may not, and of course, if you're using your own personal productivity, they're not going to stop you from doing that, especially because it's in the vein of learning.
Yeah. I also, Joe, I would almost venture to guess that you have your own tenant that you play in when you're not at work. If I know Joe, I bet you he does.
I bet he does. Well, if he doesn't, here it is for everyone else looking for it. Come and get it before Microsoft realizes, like, oh my God, we're giving that stuff for free.
Yeah. So and I tell you what, I use mine all the time. Because I get to spin up tenants as an MVP and stuff like that. But I have one out there that I have tons of data and stuff that I do in there all the time. So absolutely.
He's just a little busy. He'll get around to it eventually.
Joe, let me know if you need some help, dude. I'll spin you.
Okay, Joe, you heard it here first. And this is recorded now. So you actually have, she said yes.
Oh, man. Joe knows I'll help.
We have proof. We're not going to redact this for nobody.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there he goes. That's it. Okay, Microsoft will send me my commission now. No problem.
There you go. All right. Thank you guys for attending this session. I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. And please make sure that you fill out the feedback. Please make sure you go out and build your own little form. I want to see some cool wins out there. And like I said, first three can win $25. So thank you guys very, very much. You guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I really appreciate your time.
And it's been a pleasure, Stacy, as always. Oh my gosh. I'm just psyched. I wish I could go do the forms thing, but that's like conflict of interest if I go do it. Or is it? Have a dev tenant after all. And by the way, if a Dell Vance sends you a form, it's probably somebody you know.
There
it's
you
the
go.
Inside joke for people who know who Dell Vance is.
All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Okay.